right, everyone, welcome back to the next episode of the Beach Court Podcast. We're joined back again here with Parker Greenwald and special guest host Landen Kaetler off of your championship victory out in Sacramento, your second regional championship. So thankful to have you on, Landon. We
Yeah,
were rooting you on
absolutely.
the whole time. I've been a big Miraidon believer since like NAIC since before, and I've been piloting the last couple tournaments I've played, and people just don't believe in the matchup spreads, because the generator's got it hit.
Real.
We'll talk about how Magaton kind of took the deck to the next level and make you chose to play it. Um, before we do that though, we want to get to know you a little bit and help our listeners kind of like understand your background in Pokemon. So we got some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Oh yeah.
All
Send on
right.
my way.
What got you into playing Pokemon?
I started collecting when I was a younger kid, kind of the natural pipeline, just getting packs from family for Christmas or birthdays or whatever. Started like competitively playing in probably 2014. My first Worlds was 2016. Started going to regionals in like the
Dang.
2014 timeline. And then it kind of just went from there. Did all right back in the day. Didn't really have the funds or means to travel as much as I do now. Um, but just kind of been going with it. Apologies, I do have my little poochies kind of walking
No,
around, so you might hear
totally fine.
some dog noises. But yeah, just kind of the natural progression, collecting packs, figuring out how the game went. I think my first deck was just like some random stage twos and like energies and some supporters I
Hell
had, but
yeah.
Yeah.
kind of gradually found the resources to build meta decks, and the money kind of came along. Opening packs, picking the cards I need, and eventually I was playing optimal 60s. So and now here we are.
So the money kind of came from paramedics, right? I mean, you're
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
you're a
So
paramedic in
I
your
work
free
full
time, right?
time as a paramedic in BC. We make pretty decent money. Got a
Oh,
good flexible schedule, benefits, paid vacation, all that good stuff. So lets me travel and still put some money away for
Yeah.
other stuff than Pokemon. So good
Yeah.
work-life balance kind of deal we got going here.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So
yeah.
quick. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully, I don't see you.
No, no, no.
I'm in and out of the hospital a lot.
Yeah, should be sticking to Pokemon interactions between us three here, which
Yeah.
is great.
So
Don't like seeing
if you're
people
on
at
a
work.
flight with Landon and then anyone says anyone here a doctor, you kind of have to speak up,
Not
right?
quite. I have stood up. I have helped with a situation one time on a plane, so that was kind of a cool feeling, I guess.
Good for you. Good for you, man. Anyway, so quick sidebar about the whole paramedic thing. So you went back to work today. Just business
Look,
as usual. Did they know? What?
no, I actually, I did not get enough sleep last night, so I just booked off and slept until like 11 o'clock. Did some errands, prepped some stuff, but back on the grind tomorrow. I'll be up at 4 a.m.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so luckily today was a little bit more chill than I
Okay.
was figuring.
How do
But
you think they're going to react tomorrow? Do they already know that you won?
well, the service has about 7,500 employees, so I don't think that anyone will be jumping
Right,
on
but
it. My friends.
you have like close coworkers,
I
right?
do. My coworkers know, like I've got them on Facebook and they
Yeah.
liked my post and
Yeah.
commented. So there is some
Yeah.
coworkers that kind of get it. They're mostly like in their 30s and 40s. There's not as many young people yet. So I'm 22, so they don't know like relate to it as much, but they know what Pokemon is. As soon as I tell them I won $10,000, then they're like,
They're
"Oh,
like, bet, yeah.
whoa!"
Like, let's go. Dinner's on
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Then they're like, "Yeah, you can buy me coffee today. We can go get a nice lunch," kind of thing. So I'm sure I'll get some phone comments once I tell them the money's involved. But
All right,
uh,
cool. Anyways, thanks for your service. Paramedics do a
yeah,
really hard
appreciate
job,
that,
so
man. Thank you
we
for saying
really
that.
appreciate you. Let's move on with back to Pokemon. What's your favorite
Sweet.
Pokemon?
Sableye, hands down.
Bruh, stop lost mining, bro.
No, it's just it's been my favorite Pokemon. My first competitive league or city championships before League Cups were even a thing. I won with Sableye Garbodor. That was my first like real competitive result. So
Parker, you must hate that deck or something
yeah,
because
I
I
actually
don't know about it.
I actually didn't like the one time I played it at a regional I was playing Venusian Genesect and I
yeah,
it's actually like kind of it's not favorable, but like it was like one of the decks that like could.
yeah. The
Yeah,
energy acceleration was hard to overcome with like crushing hammers and
Yeah.
flare grunt and stuff.
Yeah.
anyways, so what's your favorite Pokemon game?
Pokemon game. Well, I've
Is it
actually I
Pocket? Why is it Pocket?
not pocket, not pocket. I think like, are we talking like video games?
Just in general, Pokemon game. It could be a Pokemon Go. It could be a video game. Could
Probably
be
Heart Gold, Soul Silver. That's my goat. My first like game I personally owned and played from start to finish that I can remember coherently was Platinum. But Heart Gold, Soul Silver, you could have your Pokemon walking behind you. The music was fantastic. I've recently been playing like Pokemon Blue and Red. I bought a Game Boy and all the old cartridges. So
oh heck yeah,
trying to
dude.
right now comparing Gen 2 to Gen 4's interpretation of Johto, and Gen 4 kind of encapsulated
It's
all
a
the
lot.
goodness, but improved on a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I really like Heart Gold's my go-to copy.
Yeah. What was your starter?
Starter for alligator. For alligator's the goat. Such a cool. You know what I actually found
Excuse me.
out
You
is
can't
it's
start with Feraligatr.
sorry. Totodile. Fun fact I found out the other day in like watching a YouTube video about Gen 2. For alligator is only spelt that way because of the character limit in game
Yeah, the
2 or
Oh
game.
Gen 2.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they
It's
cut the
missing
E
the
off the
O.
end because it doesn't fit in the game itself. So
I
they
did not
misspelled
know
it because of
that.
a
That's
functionality.
crazy.
And it's stuck for to today, and it's kind of funny. I thought that was a fun fact.
Okay, so I have to ask another sidebar question here. So now that you're qualified for the World Championships in
Yes.
Anaheim, are you going to play Feraligatr to a regional?
Probably not. Maybe the league or something.
Come
I know
on.
the Reinhardt, I forget his
Yes,
first
Adam
name, played
Reinhart.
for
Yes.
Alligator.
Yes,
Adam
he
Reinhardt.
did.
I know he has a brother, so I wasn't sure which one of them.
Adam Reinhardt's
But
my goat.
Adam played the for Alligator to a regional. And did he
He
do
sure
it day
did.
two, or was it winning and then he made it
I
too?
think
I
he
think
made it to
he's
Winnenden.
5 wins,
Nice.
yeah, something like
The
that.
Yeah.
goat, the goat with the for
Yeah.
Alligator.
So maybe you'll have to message him and get a list. Yeah, who knows? Anyways, next question. What do you like to do when you're not playing Pokemon and you're not being a paramedic?
Um, Hang out with my buddies. I play some Magic the Gathering. I live like right by a card store that does a lot of Magic tournaments. So I'll play like Commander or like Modern, win some store credit. I bought Pokemon Diamond with store credit from Magic tournaments, so that was pretty
Dang.
sick. So yeah, other card games. I have a dog, so I take my dog for lots of walks. I like to travel just outside of Pokemon sometimes. My girlfriend lives on the east coast of Canada, so I go see her pretty frequently, and yeah, just kind of chill out, take it easy. I take my breaks because work is stressful. So
Sure. Definitely. We all feel that. What's the name of the dog?
Bean, he's a little
Bean?
English bulldog.
Bean.
He's
All
pretty
right.
cutie. He's a good boy.
All right. Bean.
A
What
good
is
bean.
the meaning of skibbity?
I have
Knows.
a philosophical explanation why I like Skibbity Toilet so much, and I'm glad you asked.
Yeah,
So
go.
I have
The floor is
recently
yours.
I've recently developed a appreciation for the meaning of words and not misrepresenting them. So when I say skibbity toilet, it's genuinely gibberish and it means nothing. So I can't misrepresent something or misrepresent an argument or topic with the wrong word or anything like that. So when I say skibbity, it really just means nothing, and I love it. It's great.
How many times did you say it on stream this week?
I think only once, just in the day one interview. I tried to keep it pretty tame, especially after the misplay. I was trying to like keep it respectful because I felt like my opponent, rightfully so, would be choked if like your opponent threw a match and still beat you.
This goes skibbity.
If I said skibbity after that, I feel like I would be kind of clowning a little too hard. So I kept it classy at the end of it.
All right. Last question before we move on to Miraidon specific questions. So you won the tournament, and
Yes.
you're. I guess you drove home the next day, right?
Yeah. Morning. About left
What
at like 5 a.m.
What was the championship feast? What did you have for dinner?
So the hotel we're staying at was kind of bougie. Our friends from Washington booked it, invited us, so we paid a little bit more than we're used to, but it was worth it because 5:30 to 7 every night they had unlimited free cocktails. So we kind of boogied. I actually missed my interview because I didn't know they wanted one. So I got like 10 messages from different judges and stuff. Where are you? I'm like, I'm gone. I'd already drank like 3 cocktails by the time. So we went back and slammed a bunch of free cocktails and went for some delicious Mexican. It was a great time.
And now
Had
we
a
got
bunch
your
of the
first
friends.
interview here on the Beach Court Podcast.
Yeah,
Let's
so
go.
let's go. Let's go. Yeah, it was pretty lit. I can't complain too much. The Mexican plus the free cocktails was a great time.
That seems pretty good. That seems pretty
Yeah,
good. All right, man. Let's talk about Miraidon. Let's talk
I
about your
love it.
tournament
I love
run.
it.
Again, congratulations. You're the most deserving champ, two-time
Thank you.
champ
Thank you.
now. You seem to be like playing a lot of different decks. You know, if you look at your run, you got Arctina, you got some Muse, you got some Lost Box with Sableye. You know, talk about like your testing process and how you
Oh man.
arrived and how you like arrived on Miraidon and when did you know you were playing Miraidon?
So my friend, otherwise known at Lily Sims at Professor Poke on Twitter, messaged me about how they'd been doing well in online tournaments with Miraidon. And I'll be honest with you, I played exactly 8 testing matches before this tournament.
Woo! Not recommended,
I
guys. Not
not
recommended at home.
recommended, but when you work full time, it's you just kind of do what you can do. I forgot this tournament was really happening. It snuck up on me, and my friend was like, "I've been playing the Prime Catcher build and Ride On a lot," and I went on Play Limitless and was kind of looking at some Ride On lists, and I saw the secret box, and I was like, "That seems really good."
The
You,
box, baby. You've been saying it right here on
yes,
this
sir.
channel. The
You
box.
you thin so many cards and you just get the same setup. It feels like when you have the secret box, you just do the same thing every turn, or every game,
Yeah.
because you just get to pick whatever you want. And then I was like, well, the only thing I could see this matchup like really struggling with this Charizard. So I played against Lucas Oldell. We played 3 sets, and I managed to 6-0 him as the Miraidon player into Zard. And I was like, okay, this is really good. And I was like, okay, I'm playing this. I'm playing this. Let's make some changes to the list. We perfected the 60, added the 4th boss, made sure the counter catcher stayed in, made sure the list was super consistent, kept the rescue board, and sent it. I don't think I would change a card. It worked out really well, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
If you sequence correctly, you should be attacking most times on your first turn. You're able to. So and then gusting for the last 2 prizes. You're basically able to go 2-2-2 pretty consistently every time. Really
Yeah.
liked the deck, and it was not the easiest way. Like it's not as easy as just like research Miraidon, but it's not the hardest thing either. It's just sequencing correctly and then finding boss. So
Yeah, it's Arvin for box 4 Sealstone. Box get generator, charm, rescue board, whatever else you need.
yeah,
It's just great, man. You just get anything you need every turn.
it's a
It's
sick deck. It's
fantastic.
a sick deck. The matchup spread is fantastic. Don't hit stall. You're pretty much fine into everything else.
Right, yeah, that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Parker, you want to take the next question?
Yeah. So, during your stream and like multiple times during the tournament, you said you were like super confident that you were winning the tournament.
Yes.
What made you so confident? Like, I could never, say I'm gonna go win this. I'll be like, I might,
Parker's gonna be like, I'm gonna miss every generator.
yeah.
Well, so it's kind of a lot easier to have that confidence when it's like the second time you've been up there, second time you've had the medal put on your neck. Like it wasn't a new experience for me, which is kind of nice. But it was very similar to Portland. Like when I was playing like round 1, it was just like went well, and then it went well again, and it went well again, and I just felt like I was hitting the right matchups. I was in the zone. I was playing like I know looking at my stream games looks like I'm a terrible player, but I was playing like the goat the rest of the tournament. Like my
Yeah.
play was perfect. I was not misplaying. Like it was just I was just in the zone. The matchups were going my way. Felt like the meta game was looking well, and I just had the same feeling I had in Portland, where I was just like, it's happening. I'm not accepting any of the outcome, and it did. So as long as you got the confidence, I say confidence, not arrogance. I don't think I'm winning every turn when I go to, but
Sure.
this one was just the one who just felt like it. So
I mean, you have to have that, right? I mean,
yeah,
like, and there has to be some type of sense I'm gonna win this match, right? Like,
yeah,
and we'll talk about this a little bit after we're done talking about Miraidon, but like the tournament structure right now is very cutthroat, right?
it
Like
is.
it is very cutthroat, right? 2 losses and you're barely making asymmetrical cut, and if you have anything else outside of that, like you're done, right? And
Yeah.
so, um, it's very cutthroat. And let's talk about. I want to add on top of that because you kind of led us right into the next question. You've won a regional before. You kind of knew
Hmm.
how it felt, and you said like round 1, it kind of felt like this, but like did you see any different comparisons that like did you feel calmer? Did you feel a sense of calm when you were at those top tables, day 2 fighting? What was different about this run compared to your previous win?
The previous time, like I've only made top 8 in Masters twice. And the first time it was just
100% conversion rate,
yes,
baby.
sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
The previous time, you're up at the top tables, you've never really been there before. You don't really feel like you're not that you don't belong there, but it's not like where the other like top players we say
Yeah.
are used to being at top tables. They know everybody, they know everybody's name. They've played against most people before. And the second time you have that reputation, people that like they know your name, they know who I am. And it's not like I'm meeting all these people for the first time. And the second time, it just kind of felt like I was in the zone. I know I've been here before. It's nothing new. I don't feel like I don't belong here. I'm just as good a player as all these guys. I hit quite the gauntlet day 2,
Yeah,
and
you
it
did.
just don't care about the name. You're just another guy in front of me. Let's play some poke. So
That's right. Love to hear it. Parker, next one.
Yeah.
I like this
So
question. I'm a fan of this question.
yeah, all three of us had this question. So when you won your first tournament, you had a couple of, knock the deck, skull
Yeah.
vet, draw one. Did you share any of those kind of moments with this? Like, oh boy, I really need, a generator and I need to hit two off of it. And you like draw a generator, hit two or something like that.
I very frequently, like, if it was a matter of like we did this on stream the day one where I had, if I
Yeah.
hit two generator, you just put them on the table. So I was just flipping it top deck down, open hand, you flip the energy. So it was just anytime I felt like it was like the end of the game, I could do some kind of style points thing that was kind of fun for both me and my opponent. I would just play like open handed or flip the energies face up or something, some silly stuff like that. Didn't really do new deck knocking, but a little bit of theatrics just for fun, you know.
Did you have any like special fleet foots for like, oh my God, I really need this to be like, I need this to be like a
The
card. Like I got
nuts or something.
this has to be boss,
Actually,
right? Or anything
yeah,
like
actually
that.
against Antonucci in round 11, I
Yeah.
had a set up the knockout where I needed to bundle to bring up a one prize, or I needed to pop Magneton or something. So I had to get rid of 20 damage for Raikou, and that took me out of the knockout. But I had fleet footed that could either hit energy to keep the oh, it was Magneton to keep the Magneton on the bench for the extra 20, or get a nest ball. And I forgot that I could just draw an energy. So I retreated into the Raikou. I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna flip a nest ball off the top for a Pokemon. I flip it face up on the table. I'm
It's
like,
energy.
oh yeah, attach return knockout.
Nice.
So that was the second game, I think, for the 2-0. So I kind of forgot. I was like, oh, that works too. And I attached energy and knocked him out.
That's better
So,
than my Antonucci story. I gusted the wrong Pokemon when I
oh,
had
and
game
sick.
to go
Yeah.
6-0. Yeah, I gusted the wrong
Sick.
Pokemon. So
Yeah, that was kind of, I guess, one of the like the highlight top deck moments for me, I guess.
this is kind of off the cuff. It's not there, but let's talk about your hands, right?
Yeah.
You've got checkmate on board. You know your opponent doesn't play disruption. You've got boss in hand. Your hands are like glued to the table, right? Like your hands are like, I'm not doing anything. Like you do what
Yeah.
you want, bro. Like
Yeah. So I
what was
know
that feeling like? What were you thinking in that moment?
well, obviously, game two, I had game locked up and I threw it so hard, like in every possible way. I
Sure.
could have just attached the seal stone to the Luminion. I could have just preactively gotten the boss.
You
I
could just
forgot.
not attach a steel stone also. You
Yeah,
just held
true.
it.
I just wasn't thinking like in the moment. I forgot Magneton was prized, so I'm like, I have so many outs to like counter catcher, Arvin, boss. Just need the Magneton. I have so many outs to just raw drawing boss. Like it's in the bag. I'll just throw the steel stone down, whatever. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Put it on the Raichu. I put it on Raichu last game, and then
Yeah.
instantly I'm like, as I passed the turn or took the knockout, I'm like, oh, wait a second. I could lose here. I only see 6 cards without the seal stone, and then I whiff the boss. So game three, I'm just like, oh, don't get ahead of yourself, because I thought I had it in the bag. Didn't matter what I did. Just throw this down. I got so many outs. Doesn't matter. This guy can't touch me. It's all good. The game's over. And then I threw. So game three, I'm just like, all right, I don't have to do anything except sit here and let him do his turn. I'm putting my hands down. I'm not messing this up. I have game on board. And then I just waited for him to let me reveal the boss, and there it was. So
Did he ask you if you had it? And
he
when you
did,
revealed
yeah.
it,
And
yeah.
when you saw me reveal it on stream, he's like, you have Luminion, you have boss too? I'm like, yep. And
Yeah.
then picked it up. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Let's see. Next question. Where are we at? Okay, so coming into the tournament, we talked about Zard. You beat it kind of like very easy. What matchup were you worried about the most, like in the meta? Like obviously Snorlax, we know it's a bad matchup, right? 'Cause we're
yeah,
not playing
Snorlax
switch
is
cards,
like
right?
pretty much unwinnable with the current list. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Switch Cart lets you sneak a couple games out, but still they have Airy Misfortune. I don't think it really does much.
Sure. But
Still,
like,
Zard was one of like my matchups I want to
okay.
hit the least, because it's like the not. I still think it's like even to slightly favored, but it's not the same as like Drago, where you can't lose if you don't brick kind of thing. Um, and then Raging Bolt was a little bit suspect. I was kind of worried about like Pikachu Lost Box decks because of the ability for them not like you can't touch Pikachu. It has to be 2 shots. So um, those were kind of the sussy matchups, but I hit Raging Bolt, I hit Lost Box Pikachu, I 3-0'd both, I beat the Lost Box Pikachu I hit, so I guess it wasn't as big a deal as I thought. So I guess biggest thing is just stall is like the really unwinnable matchup, but
Yeah.
can't beat everything.
Yeah. Parker, I mean, I know we already talked about the Charizard a little bit, but you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so I see a familiar friend of Miraidon's made it back, the evolved form of the Pikachu you played. You got Raichu back in there.
Yeah,
Does that help the Zard matchup, or does he not
definitely.
even use it? Or okay,
Definitely. So I mean, I don't know if you like know this, but I was choosing first the whole tournament.
Sure.
Yeah.
Choosing first against Zard, you're gonna go turn one, get out Magnemite, get out your Iron Hands, attach to the hands. Turn two, you're gonna amp something or take a two prize on a V Pokemon, and then what you do, you charm the hands.
Yeah.
So they have to hit Candy Zard Vacuum to deal with the hands. If they don't hit it, you go boss, take another two prizes, and then they're just too far behind. They can't really stamp you because you just proactively nest ball for a Mew Fez. They can't gust around your Iron Hands because you'll just boss KO again because you always have the boss or the counter catcher or whatever. And then you have the ability to, after your hands does either, if they kill it, they hit the vacuum, you can either go punch through active with Raichu or boss amp again, or take out Pidgeot with a Raikou or a Miraidon, or take out a V with a Raikou or Miraidon. So it's pretty simple to go 2-2-2. If they choose first, then you kind of don't mind because they might get a weak setup and you can just amp. And it's really hard for them going first to hit Candy Zard Vacuum on their second turn.
Sure is. Yeah.
That's not an easy thing. If they hit it, they hit it. But Stamp doesn't do much because you just bench your draw Pokemon before they snap you. So the matchup feels pretty easy to me. Bundle can push Zard out of the way if you don't hit something else, and you can bundle before you charge up the hands or the Raikou, so they put up something and you can respond to what they put up. So
that's pretty much the route that we discovered.
Yeah. Magneton also makes it way easier to Raichu, way easier to power up second hands. They're not hitting Candy Zard, Candy Pidgeot, Candy Dusknoir, pop on your Magneton, vacuum, stamp. They're not hitting all that in one turn. It's not going to happen. If they do, then go to game 2 and 3, I guess. But
that's it. Yeah, it's like you're him, right? You're built.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so that's the Zard matchup. It's not as hard as people think it is. Like Magneton makes it a lot easier because you can set up some checkmates pretty easily.
Yeah, so let's talk about your tournament run. Let's talk about like Swiss rounds. You hit the likes of Jesse Spencer, Grant Manley, Henry Brand, Brent Tonneson, Ryan Tanucci, ID'd with John Ing. Talk about your rounds, even the opponents that aren't very known. Was there any like memorable deck that you played against or memorable match that you want to call to that you just want people to hear about?
I mean, I honestly, it was a bit of a gauntlet day 2, but all of my opponents, like I went to like 100% on super chill people. Had a bunch of fun matches. Had some good like back and forth. Do you want me to go through like round 1 through like finals?
I don't go through all of them. Just kind of like highlight some of like the big highlights that you want to like.
Sure. I shout out like my Lost Box Pikachu opponent, Jonathan Hosbrook. He was a super cool guy. He came up to me multiple times throughout the tournament, kept cheering me on. One of my friends made a comment to him, man, you must be nice to your opponents if they're cheering you on throughout the tournament after you beat them.
You are nice. Like, you're a great guy.
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks, brother. And then, I had a great match against Grant Manley. I kind of sacked him a little. I don't know. You're pretty likely to hit boss when you get Iono'd in this deck, but hit the Iono attach or the boss attach off the Iono. He wasn't super happy about that.
Grant was like, happy when he lost.
Again.
I'm so shocked.
Ended up beating me game 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then another one for Brent Tonneson. I made a bit of a slip up against him. Did a shortcut. I used a Seal Stone without actually putting him into play. Super classy about it. Judges saw that I wasn't intentionally cheating. I just made him play. Everything was in hand. Didn't make sense. Basically what happened is I was going first. Eliminion for Arvin. Went to go Hisuian for Seal Stone for Hisuian. Didn't put the Forest Seal Stone in play yet. Just went and got the Hisuian. And then he helped me de-escalate it. He was like, no, there's no reason that you would do that. That's malicious. It's just a mistake. He knocked the judge down from a DPL. Grant Mantley was sitting next to me. He was like, yeah, he had it all in hand. He didn't palm anything. Everything checked out. We ended up de-escalating and having a good game.
Let's just pause, right? That's sportsmanship, right? That's what we want, right? If you're not cheating or if you're not like maliciously doing something and you can de-escalate something, like it's definitely totally cool to do that with your opponents, right?
Yeah, actually, I have another example against Jonathan Hasbrook. We were having a great match, and he actually game 2 went to knock me out with Charizard, Radiant Charizard. I had a Bravery Charm on my hands, and he announced the attack, and it was like, oh wait, I have Vacuum. And since we were having such a great rapport, you know what I let him do? I let him play the Vacuum and knock me out. And we went to game 3. So I think this is a good PSA to all Pokemon players. If your opponent and you are having a great match, I mean, it's within your rights to do so, to make them do a thing. I'm not going to blame anyone for it, but consider being nice to them because you make mistakes too. And if you do it, then other people will let you take stuff back sometimes, and you'll have a lot more fun than just like the negative feelings of someone making a misplay and not being that for the match.
And wait for the judge and all this. Yeah. I mean, like, it's just one of those things for me too that like you just have that good rapport and like you have something good for you, but you don't want to win on like a
Totally.
technicality, right? Like if I win a tournament like you did, Landon, I want to win because I won, right? I don't want to
Hmm.
win because I don't want to win because Landon put his forest seal stone on the board. I don't want to win that way, right?
Exactly. That's how I feel. I mean, again, I'm not going to hate on anybody for like making me do something because that's within your rights as a player. That's the
Yeah,
rules. But consider being forgiving because I guarantee you've made a mistake too that's made
absolutely,
you lose a game. So think about
absolutely.
that sometimes. Um, yeah.
Yeah. What else? So you had the match with the Brent. Anything else after that?
I mean, I guess the stream maybe I'll comment on stream nerves. Like
Sure.
I guess
Yeah.
at this point I'm consider myself an experienced player. I've won 2 regionals. That's a pretty good resume. But obviously we're all subject to nerves. I let it get to me on stream twice. Made some pretty obvious misplays. Didn't end up affecting me throughout the outcome of the tournament. Another thing, if you make a mistake, don't let it like tilt you off and spiral. Like I made a
Own
mistake.
it.
I left it in game 2. I went to game 3. I played a perfect sequence, attacked on turn 1 and didn't let it affect the match. I won the tournament anyways. But if I had let that be like, ooh, and then just start throwing and tilting and letting it spiral, that's no good for you. So move on, learn from the mistake, and try your best not to do it again.
Yep. Parker, anything else about tournament run?
Um, honestly, no. I mean, he pretty much touched base on all of it. He had a couple like good stories and examples that you could use from it. For other players and stuff. It's uh, it's
Okay.
pretty solid.
All right, I've got some list questions. I'm a Miraidon enjoyer, so
Yes, sir.
I've got some list questions.
Yeah, throw them at me.
Number one, when I've been playing recently, I found you're still playing four boss, which is great. I found like Luminion late game to be like so good, right?
So good.
It's so good, right? So, did you guys discuss the ball count, the nest ball and ultra ball? Because for me, when I played Miraidon with this kind of build, I always wanted four ultra ball just to have as many outs to Luminion as possible to win the game. So kind of like talk us through like, did you test that? Do you have any theories around that?
I mean, I would love to have had 4 Ultra Ball. I'd get to play my 4th gold one. You got to do it. Excuse me. But you just don't have the room. Like this list, I don't know what card I'd change. I saw the Rotom V and Kenny's list. I'm like, that's a pretty good idea if you're choosing blind first. That sounds pretty cool. But I just don't know where you're finding space for all these cards. Like this list is jam packed. I ended up cutting the switch card in it because it wasn't doing much for the 4th boss. But that was the only card I could see that was movable. Like Bloodwind Ursulina is another one you want to add, but there just isn't the room. 4th nest ball is definitely better than the ultra because
Okay,
just being able to nest for Mew or Latias is super important, or getting your Miraidon
sure.
squawkability.
Yeah, and then similar to like you already touched on like not bundle but Blood Moon. What about like a second Raikou? Like Raikou like it's just
Another
so
card I
busted,
really
right?
want. Raikou is so broken, but the Night Stretcher really carries. I
Okay, the
think the Night
stretcher
Stretcher
carried.
is more important than having second Raikou because he can get back bundle. If you have to discard your Squawk, or you discard Magneton with Squawk, you can get it back, or your
Yeah.
Magnemite.
Okay.
Another
Yeah.
thing we saw me do is discard. I did this against Grant in both the games we played. I had to discard Luminion early, and then I would Arvin mid game to get it back, so I could Ultra Ball for Luminion if I got Ionode. So Night Stretcher is really good for just covering your butt in bad situations.
You like it over Rod?
Yeah, definitely. The instant access is huge, especially with Arvin. Like if you can basically like I did this another couple of times. Like I discard the Latias early game because I didn't need it, but then you could pick it back up later and get it back. But Super Rod would be nice to improve generator
Yeah,
odds, but I'm playing 16 energies.
you're fine
I didn't
there.
have any problems
Yeah,
hitting it.
yeah.
Magneton gets back energy, Squawk, Magnemite too.
16's a lot. I found 15 to be a sweet spot. So kudos to you to run 16 and do well with it. Yeah, so those are kind of my questions. I like the list overall. It's really good. Two stadiums is
I
fine.
could
We can play in
agree.
box. So
Yeah, I could agree that it's very good.
yeah, I mean, it won a tournament, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I saw the bracket when the bracket came out, and I was like, please, can we have a Miraidon mirror in finals? Like as
Yes,
soon as the
sir.
bracket came out, because I was like, everyone's been hating on Miraidon
They
lately.
have. Nobody was looking at this
No
tournament, and I'm
one was
sitting
listening
there.
to me, bro. I'm just
It was
like,
so
literally,
broken. So
like
broken.
we're gonna cut it in right here. Last week on this episode, I predicted a Miraidon victory.
Did
So
you?
I
You
Wow.
did.
did.
I
You
did.
did.
So
Congratulations, my friend. That's excellent premonition.
when we got the finals, I had a 100% chance to win. It was great. It was fantastic. All right, yeah, so that's kind of Landon's run, and Miraidon and all things Miraidon. Now we'll talk about Sacramento top eight and continue the rest of the episode. But before we do, I do have to thank our sponsor, Nakama Anime Cafe. Thank you for your continued sponsorship of this podcast. We've got a League Cup coming up on December 7th. I'll be there. Parker will be judging, most likely, question mark.
Lee,
Judging,
sad
yeah.
face.
That's fine. I'll win it. It's fine. I'll take Landon's 60 and just destroy everyone. Yeah, so we got that cup coming up. Landon, we like to do trivia. Are you a big trivia guy?
Not generally, but I'll try my best. Is it Pokemon trivia?
It is Pokemon trivia. It's
I
usually
should be-
Pokemon TCG trivia. mostly.
Okay, I should be pretty decent at this. I've been playing
Okay.
for quite some time, play a lot of retro, so
Oh,
Parker, there's no new set. You're fine. There's no new
okay,
set.
okay.
You're
How many item cards are in SurgingSparks? Or okay, all right.
I like to tease them with like how many EXs are in the next set, like things like that, Landon.
that I won't get. I don't know that answer.
Don't worry. The Prism Evolutions thing is coming soon, so pay
Word.
attention.
Oh boy.
All right. So let's throw it back to Landon and Miraidon. Landon, before you, when was
Yes.
the last TPCI Master TCG competitor to win a
Nathan
major
Beck.
event with Miraidon? Nathan Beck. Nailed it.
The
What
answer?
tournament was this?
Vancouver 2023.
Vancouver 2020.
Or would it be 24?
24. Yeah,
Okay,
it was-
okay.
It was in
it was the
March,
most
yeah.
recent Vancouver. I don't
Yes,
It's
know.
like,
yeah.
what year
damn,
it was.
23. That's a long time.
No. 24. Sorry.
Killed it without hesitation. Guys, I'm a Miraidon goat, y'all. Never played to a
Knew.
tournament. Had nothing. Parker, would you have known that?
Nope. Honestly, I was probably gonna say like LAIC last year or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yuho Kawamo. Is that his name?
Yeah. I lost to him
true.
in like round 12 last year. I'm so sad.
Dang.
Yeah, dude. It should have been
Broken.
me.
Broken
Could have
dog.
been Eric Ridgway.
I literally was like a generator away from donking him. Like
Brutal.
in game 2, like I already won game 1. He had nothing. He's like, path fast charge. And I'm like, I've got switch card plus generator and Miraidon in hand, like for the bench. And I'm like, sick, bro. Generator whiff. No, bro.
Brutal.
And then ended up losing. It was
I hate to
brutal.
see it.
Anyways, let's talk about Sacramento. We are kind of flying a little bit blind. You were at the tournament, so we'll have maybe some more information, but we don't have limitless results yet, thanks to Arcanine. But I do want to talk about the top 8, right? We
Mhm.
had 5 Regidragos and a Miraidon Mirror in finals, right?
Yes.
And the other decks were Goldango. There's 1 Goldango, 5 Dragos, and 2 Miraidons. What are your thoughts on that, man? Like that top 8, like what?
I mean, that's kind of why I picked this deck. I knew that a lot of the top players, like all the top testing groups, were looking into Drago most likely. And I was thinking like Miraidon completely farms this. So I picked
Sure
it
does.
and I hit a lot of Drago. I hit it in both my top 8 and top 4 matches. I hit it in my last 3 rounds of day 2. And it was pretty evident by the results that the Drago matchup is very good for Miraidon. So I think that's kind of how we got to where we are. And Drago is good against like most other things, obviously, because Drago is a very good deck. So it was pretty expected for me to see so much Drago in the top 8, and then also seeing Miraidon where it ended up, because both decks are very good, and Miraidon was kind of preying on the Dragos.
Parker, what are your thoughts on the top 8, man? Like 5 Dragos? I've said
I
on this
mean-
podcast the deck is bad. I've said it.
You did. Someone even like tweeted about it.
I'm just saying,
But-
like I can never hit the nuts for that deck, dude. I just can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
like-
know.
I'm like turn 2, research, Legacy Star, not a single E-switch in sight.
Yeah,
Every time, bro.
that's me. I have to attack. I have to Legacy Star like so much just to attack with the deck. But like, I don't know. It's not really that surprising to me. I thought maybe like a Zard or something would like make it in there, but like
We
I
had
think
one of
Zard
Ace-
was the 9th.
Yeah, we
Like,
had
it
Ace
lost
Sim
to
cut.
ASIM.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think he lost to Goldango, right? Was that the ASIM?
Mm.
Let me see.
No, I think it was
Isaiah
Regidrago.
Williams. Yeah, it was Drago.
Yeah,
Drago Farms.
definitely.
Drago Farms that matchup. Yeah, so pretty interesting. Top eight. I mean, I didn't expect Drago to do like. I mean, obviously it's a really good deck. It's like one of the best decks in format for a
Hmm.
reason. So, but I guess that's one of the things when a lot of top players play it. We're gonna see it in top eight, and I'm excited
Yeah.
to kind of see the full day two results. I think you said you had the meta up. What was that day two meta looking like?
Yeah, so I just went on Limitless, and it's in the like statistics of the regional. Um,
What was it?
Day one was top deck Regidrago V Star. Day two was the same. It just converted four
Oh, here we
extra
go.
percent. So I don't know if you see the graphic I'm looking at.
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We got Goldango on the chart, but no Miraidon.
Yeah. Goldengo converted pretty well by the looks of things, which is interesting. I guess Energy Search Pro is more of a buff than we thought about. Togekiss is also really good. We
That
saw
deck
that in
is
top
really
four.
good. I've been playing it a
Yeah.
lot since Saturday, like since I saw it starting to do well, and I was like, dude, the Togekiss and like even putting a 1/1 Dusknoir in there,
Yeah,
like
because it works with Togekiss.
yeah, and you enable counter catcher too, which is like
Yeah,
really good.
it's
It's
really good.
it's very good deck.
It's cooking. It's
It
cooking.
the issue is, and I haven't tested it enough. The Drago matchup is probably not good, right? Like you don't, even if you play Manaphy, it's probably doesn't help. And it's tough because a lot of people
Yeah,
are cutting Palkia right now. Most are cutting Palkia.
I don't think you don't even really need to play Palkia because you go Togekiss. You're
Yeah,
pretty easy to 2/2/2.
yeah.
You have the Dusknoir. I don't know. I mean, obviously I haven't tested the deck. I don't think I played Goldango pre this set. Kind of were for Worlds format for Baltimore. I was testing Dango a bit, and it kind of felt like if you passed the turn two Kyurem test, you won pretty handily.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
played Manaphy, it's not that not everyone's playing Cologne right now. Cologne Prime Catcher Kyurem is not like the easiest thing in the world to hit on turn two of the game. So I'm expecting that the player in top four hit quite a few Drago. Obviously he did pretty decently into it. I wouldn't count that matchup out totally, but
I mean, I think he beat two, or sorry,
yeah.
he beat two.
My biggest issue with
Or
Dango would
one.
be finding the Dengos without Hyper Aroma. I don't know how you're doing that consistently.
There's four, so it does have it does get
Yeah,
there pretty regularly. I mean, a lot of times you just cipher for both and Greninja, like for
that's
two, and
fair.
then Greninja into two.
That works too.
That's what I've been doing a lot. It's like cipher, just put two Dango EXs
Seems
and
broken.
Greninja into them. Um, Parker, what's your kind of are your thoughts on this day two meta as it relates to tournament?
So like it's kind of what I expected. I think Lost Box is a little higher than I expected
Hmm.
because like everyone knows Draco's like gonna be the best thing, gonna be
Yeah,
the most played.
yeah.
Like that matchup is just hard because they just bench cure him and kill
Yeah, they
you.
just go Gudra, Kira. Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, I don't know.
because even
I'm
the go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm a little surprised to see Guardy that high. Like that deck is like crazy, crazy good, but like it's hard to survive like the Drago like
Yeah.
turns, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same with
But
like Charizard, right? There's these decks that like do well into the meta, but just like lose to Drago. And
Yeah.
that's hard, right? Like the meta's just kind of gate kept by this one deck right now. A
It's
little
really good.
bit.
I was
Yeah.
very surprised to see Lost Zone Box at this representation. Um, it converted pretty much evenly into day two as well. We didn't really see it anywhere near the top at any point. I don't think was there. I didn't see
Um
any. I was at top tables most of the tournament. I didn't see any Lost Box after round two.
Hedrick was he's playing Drago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't see how you can justify playing Lost Box when Regidrago is by this large of a margin like the best deck.
Yeah, I don't know either. But everyone just wants to play Pikachu in their deck, but you could play Miraidon now, so
You
it's fine.
could. I agree.
You could just play Miraidon. Yeah, I was kind of shocked to see Charizard high, honestly. Like I
Yeah,
think
me
what
too. Like, I mean, my friend Lucas played it, other potential host of the Lost Mine podcast from previously, and yeah, I think he just kind of he hit Dragos. The matchup's not fantastic.
that's bad,
You
dude.
can break a decent amount of time with Zard as well. It's a stage two deck with lots going on. If you get forced to go first, you can have some pretty weak setups. I'm not a huge fan of Charizard right now. I've seen some like maybe with like the Terapagos, if that's kind of cool. So you have a bit of a different early game. I think we saw some people playing that this event. Wasn't
Yeah.
super popular, but um, seems like a decent way to maybe solve some of the weaknesses of Zard. Another thing I saw that not that much Terapagos, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
yeah,
one thing
actually.
I was going to point out was Terapagos and Palkia Dusknoir both fell off the graphic,
Yeah.
right? So, Interested to
Which,
see like where did the Palkia like did they all go to like Lost Box? Like all the Palkia customers are like,
yeah, I don't know.
nah, Lost Box now. It's Lost Box time.
Yeah.
I feel like Palkia Stonks are extra down now after this tournament, but Terapagos actually is one of the tougher matchups that I found for the deck.
Oh, you just Greninja EX. It's fine. You just felt two
True.
Greninja EX. What's Miraidon doing?
This is true. That's true. I mean, Raichu is pretty good into that as well. I
You
mean,
get one of them. You get one.
I will tell you, through even against like the Lost Box, with you able to just go 2-2-2, even if they knock you out like each time, you just have it like that. So I wouldn't even be that scared of Ninja EX. I'd just gust around it and then Raichu through it.
Bruh. All right.
But I think Terapagos stonks are probably up because with Boufflant, Henry gave me quite a run for my money. He actually kind of misplayed himself out of the game.
You can't amp. Yeah, you can't amp if they do it right.
Yeah, so I was kind of forced to arm press through Bouffalants and then start bossing up like Hoot Hoots and taking 2 prizes, bossing up Pidgeots. But that matchup felt like one of the more difficult ones of the tournament for sure. And I think I could see it getting a little more popular in response to like Miraidon stonks like skyrocketing, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, well, let's just kind of like let's just go there, right? Like Miraidon, great deck, right? We know we all knew it was good at this podcast, and Landon obviously knew as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how does this affect the meta? What are your thoughts on the meta? I think our next major tournament, Stuttgart.
Yeah, I mean, if you play correctly as Miraidon and you don't break, like Regidrago has 0 outs at all to do anything, regardless if they go first or second. So I think
wait. I want to
Drago's one
combat.
down.
I need to combat this. I need to combat this because there's a friend of the pod, Nick Moffitt,
Yeah.
loves him some Noivern, loves him some
Okay.
scoop up Noivern.
Okay. That I
Right?
stand corrected. If you scoop up Noivern, we're cooked. But
Right? Does
you do
Drago
have bundle boss
does
if they
Drago
don't.
pivot to that though? I mean, like, are we just playing Cyclone and going back to Noivern?
I mean, I could see it. I think the huge power of Drago is Prime Catcher, though. I think you're giving up like a lot of the strengths of the deck by cutting it
Yeah,
for
yeah,
scoop up. If you're really tacking that hard for Miraidon, which I mean is probably pretty reasonable to do,
yeah.
especially like it's gonna be good into Drago, good into a Lost Box, good into basically anything that's just basics. But I don't know if you're really wanting to alter your other matchups that much.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
tough.
sure.
It's tough.
That would be a conversation for these diehard Regidrago players, which will not be me.
What do you think, Parker? What do you think about Scoop Up Cyclone and Noivern? We countering?
I'm not a fan personally. If they didn't do it when they were even more big basic and even like ancient bucks, like I
Yeah,
don't think
true.
they're doing it now. Um, yeah, like honestly, the only way I can see is if you like a bench 2 Dragos and 1 Teal Mask, you take knockout on one and like they get the like turn 2 and like that's all they have on their board. Like that's all I could like really see.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy, right? It's
Okay.
all we gotta do is scoop up, and then we go Legacy Star, scoop up, Noivern, right?
Yeah,
it.
no, that's a good line. I'm not
Right?
denying it. I maybe people switch to that. I don't know. I'm sure Moffat probably will play it then if he's such a big fan. But um,
Let me see
I'm not
his
sure
list.
if
Hold on.
I'd be curious to see how knee-jerk reaction the metagame's going to have to this tournament. I don't know.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you think like because like and Bolt's good, right? Like Bolt does what Bolt does, but like its
Yeah,
matchup spread is not good, right?
no, it's not.
Like it has a bad matchup in a Lugia, I think overall. It has a bad matchup in a Zard, and it has a bad matchup in a Tropico's previously, right?
And Guardy
And Guardy, right?
and Lost
So
Yeah.
Box.
yeah, so like so many matchups where like it's just not good for them. So
Yeah,
do we think we see a shift of
I think so.
Raging Bolt players move back to Miraidon?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the players that play like these turbo decks, and I never will use the language of like lesser players. Newer, less experienced players will gravitate towards these turbo decks because they're just easier to perform at a higher level with. Um, and those kind of players are going to gravitate from Raging Bolt over to Miraidon just because of I just Miraidon has a better matchup spread by a lot.
It does, yeah.
And it's pretty similar. It's more consistent as well. Does pretty much the same thing more often and with better matchups. So I see no reason to really play Bolt over Miraidon like at all.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. So now let's counter the counter, right? Let's say you're playing Miraidon,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of Miraidon in the format. Are we going
Mhm.
first still?
I was actually thinking about this. I'm not sure about that answer because I think into this tournament it was just correct. Like I blind firsted every
No, I
time,
agree. I agree
and it
with
was broken. I want to say the only thing you could really do to alter your decision and like tech for Mirror, I guess, is play second Pikachu, and then you could
No,
choose blind first.
I found a better
Um,
way. I found a better way. I found a better way.
really. So
So
I
you
don't
get,
know. To answer your question, it may be possibly correct to go blind second if we really expect there to be like the Miraidon, like
yeah.
surge, I
So
guess.
let me cook, right? Let's just
Okay.
say we open Miraidon or whatever,
Yeah.
right? We go Miraidon tandem unit for Pikachu Magnemite,
Hmm.
and then we get we're trying to get like one more Iron Hands, right? So our board is like Pikachu, Magnemite, Iron Hands,
Hmm.
right? You push the Pikachu,
Yeah.
they bundle, you push
Yeah.
the hands. How they KOing it? They have to go right you.
Raikou V.
No, that doesn't get there.
Um,
If you don't have a full
if you have three bench
bench.
Pokemon, a full bench of 8 kills hands.
Wait, 180, 200, 220. Okay, so you just go
Well,
two bench.
yeah.
You just go two bench.
But then they will just Raichu you. It's not that hard to get 4 energy and play
You think
turn one.
so? You think
Yeah,
so?
it's
Okay.
not hard. I did it on stream in round 8, and it was like
All
pretty
right.
light work just to donk
I
with the
think that's like what we
Raichu.
have to do, right? We just have to like say like, hey, knock out those hands.
Yeah, I mean you're putting them to it, but it's pretty likely for it to happen going second if you're sequencing correctly.
Yeah, yeah, and then we can't bench Magnemite, which sucks.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
do
know.
think second Pikachu is actually pretty interesting consideration for Mirror because
We talked
especially
about it.
going like it would really help into Bolt. I mean, they have Prime and Pokemon Catcher, so they can get around it. But if they're playing the boss and bundle and counter catcher build like my list, then double Pika would actually just mean that they can't take any prizes on their second turn,
Yeah,
on their first turn going
unless they
second.
just hit the nuts of like
Yeah, if they hit like the
boss.
boss, like I did that a few times, but that I will say is very unlikely. Like without Arvin into Secret Box, you shouldn't be attacking going second for that easily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Parker, what do you think? We have Miraidon. It's really good. Do you think the Bolt players are going to jump off? Or are they going to stay with what they know?
So the thing with like Bolt is like I think if this is gonna sound maybe like kind of
No,
degrading
no,
maybe,
don't do that. Don't do that.
but like it makes you do a lot of things kind of like
Yeah,
all the things like you can't really mess up the things you're doing that much, but like you do a lot of things. So it makes not like people think they're doing more, but like you're really just like teal masking twice and playing Sada like at the end of every turn basically. Like I don't know, like that deck is like super terrifying to play against.
it
Like
is. Yeah,
no
no, it
matter what
definitely
I'm
is.
playing, because like if I miss one turn of stuff, like I might just lose. But
Yeah,
it is the same with Miraidon. I mean, like it's pretty easy to get turn one Iron Hands and just like yeet your opponent off the table.
Yes,
But
sir. Thank you very much. Thank you
yep.
very much.
but
We got the alt art right here, boys.
Woo!
I,
Yee, let's
I
go.
think the Bolt players, I think it's gonna stay pretty high still.
Think so? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not getting any finishes. Like it's got one finish this season from Caleb Guttermer, and that's it. Like no one
Yeah,
else is
Yeah.
getting finishes with the deck.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're playing that deck, I think you're just trying to day two. I don't think you're trying to win the tournament, kind
I
of
could
Yeah.
a
agree.
thing.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about one more deck before we move on, and it's my favorite deck to hate on. I love hating on this deck. Lugia, where'd you go, buddy? Where are you, man? Like, you got your fifth most popular day one, not on the graphic day two. Did they not do the best of the rest graphic? They didn't, did they?
No, I
Oh,
I
didn't see it
believe
anyway.
so.
man, that's so sad. We could have seen it go way down to like two decks in
Yeah,
day two. No, there's probably more than that because there's 304 players. We'll get to
yeah.
that in a moment. But what we think about Lugia? Is it just because like Pikachu and Miraidon like just tough for it, right? Is that what the issue was this tournament?
Is this a question for me?
Just in general, like both of us. Right?
I think Lugia's like didn't really gain much, and other decks did.
We got
Honestly,
Blender, bro. We got Blender.
you need legacy energy.
Bro, we got Blender. What do you
Ooh.
there's a Lugia player
Legacy.
in day two with Blender.
I'm not going to deny that like Blender isn't playable, but I would never touch Lugia without Legacy in a 10 foot or with the 10 foot pull. Like you need like the
Exactly.
whole power of the deck is you have a Rainbow Energy again, and you can power up hands, and
We
you
can play
can use
Vessel and
Limiting
use
on.
Lightning. It's fine.
True.
Ooh.
Archeops for Vessel. Woo, baby, yeah. I'm not gonna deny like Lightning has obviously been in Lugia lists pretty recently, but it's like new toy syndrome. People want to play the new cards.
Yeah. I mean, well,
People
it was
like playing
played. It was the
Drago.
fifth most played deck, but it didn't
Yeah,
convert at all, and it was nowhere near top tables. I don't know about around you. Was there any Lugias around you?
There was one. I just think Lugia is so volatile that it's always going to be prone to like spiky finishes and then like dropping
Yeah.
off and going back. Like it's so like flipping coins
What did Rahul
and
play this tournament? Did he play Lugia again?
He played something else.
Did
I
he?
don't remember.
All right, he's got to have a report out by now, right? YouTube, what do you got for me? Quick research, Rahul. Oh, don't want that. Rahul, ready, Pokemon. What do we got? That's not what I want. Tournament report, could dance. No, I want tournament report for this tournament.
Or no.
What did you play? Charizard, bro? Oh
Oh
my
yeah, he played
God.
Trolleyzard,
He played Trolleyzard.
which
what?
I don't like the trolley
That's
personally.
wild. Charlie's crazy.
Trolley
I
goes
know it
hard.
is.
Arvin for Trolley is like it's just he
That
didn't
is
play
pretty
Evo though,
gas.
right? Like the thing about the Trolley is like playing Trolley plus Evo seems pretty good, and not playing Evo seems kind of wrong.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it.
Oh, they play like four energies or
He's playing
something.
five, guys. Playing five.
Yeah.
The greed is unreal.
Playing Manaphy, playing 2/2 Pidgeot. I mean, all the standard stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing different there.
I don't know. I guess in reference to Lugia, it's just it's a deck that exists that's pretty powerful, but I don't think really that many people were like excited to play Lugia this time. It's not like NEIC when Legacy just came out and everyone was like, Lugia, yeah. Or Worlds, people were running hot with it, doing well. I just don't think there was really like anyone that was jumping out of their seat to play Lugia, flipping
Yeah,
any toys or anything.
yeah. Anyways, that's day two meta recap. Let's talk about spicy decks real quick. Parker, start us off. Have you seen any day two decks you're just like, or any decks throughout the tournament you're like, oh my God, that deck, that's hot, that's spicy, we should play that.
See, that's what I always dig through Limitless for, but we don't have that data yet.
It's okay. We got
However,
Twitter though. We got Twitter.
I did see that I finally did see the like cloth Terrapagos. It looks
True, that was sick.
interesting. I
Were you
think
scared of that, Landon? It was around you, right?
I did see him next to me a couple times. Honestly, I just had no idea what he's doing. I'm like, what the hell? I looked over at Hetron and like Cloths and Terraphagoses, and I just didn't really think much of it. Luckily, I didn't play against that guy, but the deck looks sick. I sat next to him, like donking people. I think he donked one guy next to me or something, and it was pretty filthy. Like, I mean, Terraphagos with poison, extra damage, like you're
Yeah.
hitting higher numbers. Like you could hit what all the way up to two. Because with Mochi and the poison,
250, 290.
yeah, that's pretty good. You're one-shotting Pidgeot with Trafagos. That's pretty broken. You're
That's pretty
one-shotting Drago
good.
V-Stars. You're one-shotting um,
That's pretty good.
anything that's a V-Star, like Lugia's, Palkia's. Like, that's a pretty good number, 290. Even Bravery
yeah.
Charmed Bolt dies to
Yeah.
that.
No,
That's pretty good.
true. Bravery Charm Bolt does die to that. Parker,
Yeah.
have you played the deck yet? Have you picked it up?
I have not. I actually think I'm going to, but I
Seems
have
sick,
not picked it
honestly.
up. Yeah,
Bring it to
definitely.
Nakama this week.
I won't be there sadly.
No.
I
Boo.
know.
Everyone listen at
Um,
home, make sure you boo Parker in the
yeah,
comments.
boo. Um, Another one that I saw, if it's reported correctly, is Chen Pao got 14th.
Shin
Um,
Pow, baby.
Really?
yeah.
Yes, sir. We had
That's
Andy
crazy.
Zhang playing Chen Pao. I did see
That's
this on
crazy.
Twitter. Yeah. He
How
said
does
he only
Pal beat
hit one.
Drago?
He only hit one. He said he only hit one.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, he only hit one. I
That's
mean, he won
interesting.
all of his rounds in day two. He won it at 5-2-1. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I guess 5-2-1. You went out for top 16 or top 32. Is that what you're winning out for?
It's bubble. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Okay,
We'll talk about
cool.
it. Save it. We'll end off with that. What about you, Landon? Any spicy decks you saw around you?
um, I really thought the Goldango Togekiss thing was pretty cool. I feel like it kind of solved some of Goldango's weaknesses. I kind of liked my Lawson Pikachu Zard opponent. That deck was pretty cool. I also played against an actual
Wait, he had
Regigigas.
Zard in the deck?
He's playing Radiant Zard, not like Charizard EX.
Oh, Radzard.
Yeah, so no Greninja. So it was interesting because he could attack with either or, present the one prize option. I mean, Pikachu kind of like is a one prizer in a bit of a way.
Sure. I guess
So I don't know if
against
it's
Miraidon for sure.
super necessary, but it does let you preserve gates and like hit the last knockout without having to go like gate with a super rod probably
That's
and attach the right
crazy.
energy. It was pretty cool. I think that Reggie's with Pikachu EX, I think Charlie Lockyer is playing that.
Yeah, he
And
was.
with the trolley and the Skyfield and the Pikachu EX, like you can bench the Terra without really having a two prizer in play because Pikachu's ability, and you can just spam Topaz Bolt, and you have the Reggie's attackers. I saw a post on Twitter. Registeel is actually really good against Latios decks because you can 220 with it. So there's some cool tech with Reggie's. I think that deck's a little underexplored. You could even to beat Miraidon if you really wanted, you can play Fighting Energy to play with Regirock as well. But I think Pikachu does enough with Topaz Bolt to. It's cool. I like the Reggie's
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah, for me, blanking on the gentleman's name, but known known Turbo Moon player Emmett Hurley, I think is that his name? Yeah, Turbo Moon, Emmett Hurley playing the new Miraidon that
True.
KOs the Phesandipides.
Yeah,
I
that's a good card
love
too.
that card. It is so good in the meta. Like Ancient Box, maybe make a comeback right on
I saw
everywhere.
Gouging Fire as well. My boy Joe Turrentine was playing.
Did he?
He was playing Gouging Fire with the Koraidon. You can E switch attach, do 180, or you can play the double
Joe was
turbo down.
playing Gouging Fire?
Yeah, he made day two. I think he was top 64 or something. I
Yeah,
was talking to him on
yeah,
Messenger.
he was
Yeah,
doing well. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to mention this because it's scary to us around here, these Marathon enjoyers, but a couple Snorlax towards the
it's
top
true.
tables. I think the deck's just
Oh,
very, very well positioned right now. I mean,
Snorlax is a good play for Toronto, I think.
everyone's cutting switch cards. Play Snorlax if you know how to play it, right?
I had
That's
no
just
outs. I had no outs. If you
yeah,
hit me, it was a free win.
free, yeah, free dub for sure. I'll be playing Petrant in my deck. So, anyways, so yeah, that's kind of like the meta, and we're gonna close out here in a minute. I do want to talk about the changes to day two structure.
Yeah,
It didn't impact you very much, Landon, but the changes were implemented this tournament. 5-2-1 now was the day two record, right? So you only need 16 points to make day two. And coming into round eight, there were, I don't know the exact number, I calculated it yesterday in my notes, but 69% of players with 15 points, nice, did
nice.
not have a winner in their match for round eight.
wow, actually,
69%. So that means they either naturally tied or ID'd.
that's actually an insane stat.
It's a very insane stat, right? Because all 69% of them, they now have eliminated themselves from winning the tournament,
Yes.
right? You cannot win the tournament any longer. You cannot make asymmetrical cut.
Mm-mm.
Now we look at the numbers: 28 match points, 18 plus, 16 plus 9 is 27. Oh, what am I doing? I did the math wrong. 16 plus 9.
9 is 25.
Oh, 16 plus 12. We're doing 16 plus 12. 28. So 28 match points can get you as high as in this tournament got you up to 12. So there was a couple people that bubbled in. One of them was Andy Zhang. I'm pretty sure he won all four. Let's
Yeah,
see. He did not. He did not.
he didn't
Hedrick did
draw.
not. Only one person in day two did that. So Andy Zhang is the only person, and the only reason why his resistance was good enough to get there was because he didn't draw in round eight. He lost. That's why he finished at 5-2.
Yeah.
So he was 6-1-1 and lost, right? Or 5-1-1 and lost.
Yeah.
So interesting. You know the bubble for cash was down. There was only one person that bubbled in for cash, and that was Ryan Antonucci, or two people, Antonucci and Drew Townsend. And the
What was
issue
their
for
record?
me, 27 match points, right?
Okay.
That's the
9-3,
issue.
yeah.
This is where my issue comes with the structure. These 27 match points, I don't know the exact people, but I know Antonucci's one, Grant Manley's another. Let me see.
Gadamer.
No, Gettimer tied.
Oh, did he?
There was at
Oh,
least
you're talking about the win in it.
there was one more. Yeah, there was one more. So there's like two or three people that like had. Okay, here we go. James Sims lost to Camden.
Same 60 as me.
Oh,
Broken.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So James Sims lost winning in, miss money. Uh, Grant Shin, person who lost to Grant Shin, 26 points. Okay, that's different. Okay, so I had four people lose their winning in to top asymmetrical cut and miss money.
Yeah. I don't love that.
I hate it. It's
Yeah.
the worst, right? I mean, like you had the best tournament you could have except for one round for the most part, and you miss money. And the reason why is because of this change that Pokemon has made to allow this many people into day two and people
Hmm.
past them. From your perspective at the venue, Landon, how much talk was there about this change? What did it feel like in day two with 304 players, the largest day two in a very, very, very long time? I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's ever for me. What did it feel like in the venue with this change? What was kind of like the vibes?
I mean, it was kind of hard for me to grasp because like I started 6-0, so um I was at the top tables like the whole time, so I wasn't really hearing those conversations. I did hear someone like talking about IDing in like round 6 at like 5-1 or something to lock in day two, and I was like, I looked over at them, I'm like,
No.
no.
Like, what are you doing?
I know it was crazy, and no, we were 5-0 and they wanted to ID. That's what it was.
What?
Anyway, I looked over, just no way, no way.
Oh,
So there was like a bit of chit chat about it.
Oh,
I think, yeah, like you're saying, the biggest gripe is just like you can go from being, oh, I'm gonna top eight to no money. I
no
think
money.
it was selfishly nice to like only have 8 rounds, especially when you have a strong start. When I was like 6-0, I'm like, the worst I can do is 6-2. That's pretty awesome. Um, and then only having 4 rounds day two, like we were done finals by like 6 o'clock super handily. We were done Swiss super early in the day. That's a nice part, but it just, without the extra rounds, like the one match, it has so much more effect on your tournament, as opposed to like adding an extra round in day one or day two, which would kind of alleviate a bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the less rounds. That's not my problem. The problem
Mhm.
is the bubble. I don't like the
I don't
bubble.
know how you fix that without adding more rounds. So I
the
think the only
yeah,
solution is more rounds.
that
I've fixed it on this podcast.
Hmm.
I have fixed it.
Enlighten me. Enlighten me.
Do you play golf, Landon?
I have golfed. I don't play regularly, but I've been known to
You
golf
just do
before.
golf rules. Whatever the bubble is, you just do golf rules, right? Um, so if you are tied for a bubble, for cash, you would take however many people are tied, and let's just say there's 10 for this number. That's 10 grand. Or sorry, let's say there's 8 grand, eight people, 10 spots. You got 8 grand, 10 people. You just go 8 grand divided by 10 people, you each get $800.
I don't I don't know about that one. What I would like to see is just money go to top 64. It used to go to top 64.
Well, I mean,
it
that's
did.
look at the top 64 bubble, Landon. It's
What's that?
insane. It's
But
it's 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 50 people deep.
but you wouldn't then lose your win and then lose out on money. I think that's the biggest feel bad. Bubbling top 64 is like you bubble it. There's
It's
always
out
got to
of
be a
my
bubble.
control. It's not something I can control.
I suppose
If
so.
if I play against you, Landon, and you're playing Zard because Zard sucks, and I beat you, and then you go and lose the rest of your rounds, that's not my fault.
I guess. But in theory, like the bubble system, like you had an easier round because you played against a worse deck or a worse, like lesser opponent or whatever.
I don't know, dude. I mean, you look at Rahul, right? So if I play against Rahul and I beat him and he drops because like he had a bad tournament, I
Hmm.
played against a worse player.
That's true. That's true, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I just don't know if it's really like,
there's
I don't
variance
hate
in
your
this game.
idea, but I feel like that would feel bad for some people. And I also, Pokemon just has enough money to just say, oh, tiebreaker, all of you get the same amount of money. Pokemon has enough money to do that. So
Sure,
Definitely.
sure.
I don't hate
Yeah.
your idea though. I think that's acceptable. Because you're right. If you just extend money, then people at 64 just feel bad, like that bubble 64.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's
25,
just like,
25 match points is 56th place all the way down to 99th.
that is a lot.
Pokemon doesn't want to shell out that much money, dude. That's a lot of money.
It is, but I mean, it's
That's
there.
what, 40 grand? Quick math?
That's yeah.
And
Drop
That's
in
a
the
lot,
bucket
that's a
after
lot
that.
of
Okay,
money,
yeah.
bro. 40 grand is like half a person's paycheck at their company, right? For the year.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I don't know what the solution is. Mate,
I don't know what the solution is. I just know that like 304 players in day two with
it's too much.
69% of them not having a chance to play.
I think this would also be solved with just like not IDing as a player base at round eight.
But the problem is, like,
You can't
you
tell
have to
people
look
to
at the
do that.
perspective, like, right, we have to have emotional intelligence and look wide, right? I think
Hmm.
Celios kind of said it best, right? There are players that just want to play in day two and get experience to, and their best finish they can do is top 16 bubble. They're fine with that. But that's okay, right? It's okay to have that goal. That's fine. The issue I have is now, as a top player, someone who cares about winning, if I sit across one of those players that wants that and they offer the ID and I say, no, I can't, and they get upset with me, or they do some shenanigans in game three and play slow to force the tie, which happened to me once last season,
Hmm.
right? That's a feels bad. right? And that's because of the rule base, that's there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the change needs to be, but 304 players with, well, I mean, what was my tweet? I know I did the math and someone tried to call me out, and then my math ended up being right. There was like a certain number of players that like couldn't make day two. I think 188 that couldn't make top. Let me see. Where's my tweet? Blah blah blah. This is my tournament. That's my weight loss. That's Miraidon in finals. That's you winning. All right, 304 in day two, and only 88 had a chance to win the event.
Yeah, that's pretty lame. I
88
don't know.
players going in day two had a chance to win the tournament. That is
I didn't love the
28%.
5-2-1. I'll be honest, like 5-2-1, I don't want to make, like, obviously I'm biased. I've made day two a lot of times. I just don't think that 5-2-1 is especially like a difficult thing to reach in a tournament if you've been playing Pokemon for like a year
No.
or you've been practicing. Like if you're actually testing and taking the game seriously, 5-2-1 is not super difficult. And I think that we need more of a bar to make day two because of what you're saying. Like if what's the point of day two aside from like getting the experience of playing in day two if only 88 people can make top cut and win the tournament?
Yep.
So it kind of devalues day two as an achievement, like in itself.
Right. Yeah. We had two people, or sorry, five people get 5, 6, and 1 and get a limitless page.
I mean, good for them. That's great that they got the limitless page. Like, hell yeah, you got your name on the website. But like from a competitive like integrity,
it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, like that's not. I don't want to say devalue their accomplishment because it is an accomplishment.
It's an accomplishment. It is,
but it is not a very good accomplishment in terms of like prestige and demonstration of skill. I mean, I've had those runs where I like make it in at 6-2-1 and like go like 8 and whatever 1 or whatever it was, like terrible day 2, 2 and 4. And at that point I've kind of like wish it wasn't on my limitless page, the 120th place or whatever it is kind of thing. But again, everyone has different goals. Everyone has different aspirations for the event. My aspiration is always to win the event, but that's not everyone's goal.
Yeah, it's not.
So you got to respect different people's wishes and desires. But we've also got to acknowledge that the 88 players of 304 making top cut is pretty.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a pretty wild stat. Yeah.
Parker, I know you're ready to go back to regional with 5-2-1.
Yeah, it's tilting because I was literally 6-1 at Baltimore, but it's the only 9-round event this season. I lost on gentleman's agreement off my opponent, played obviously very well, like drew the absolute nuts to like kill my only Regidrago V-Star after I had Phantom Dive to set up a 4-prize turn. And then last round I just hit a tough matchup, tough opponent, and just, like brick game 2. So boom, I'm out 6-3. Whereas I could have taken the tie, round 8, and then day 2 sitting pretty.
Yeah.
Then I lost on gentleman's agreement because I just
I have an addition to your statement. Baltimore, you had to go 7-2, 21 points to make day 2, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I kind of liked that. I mean, I kind of like that was the first time I've ever played a tournament. I'm like, dang, it's kind of hard to make day 2. That's it. 7-2 is not easy.
It was,
I couldn't ID everyone's. I didn't like this super turbo like gentleman's, but in the concept, I don't really like IDs. It feels kind of like lame to ID into day 2. It's never really correct.
Bro, you ID'd in the top cut. Get out of here, bro.
Well, that's because I was actually guaranteed. That's different. That's different.
Here, bro.
But if you're IDing at round 9, that's just like, again, different goals. People don't want to win. They want a day 2 sometimes. But I felt like 7-2 was actually difficult. 5-2-1 is, in my opinion, from a competitive integrity standpoint, laughably easy to make day 2 with.
Winning a 5-round challenge is harder.
Yeah, it honestly kind of feels that way. So I kind of wish we had some sort of mixture between the 7-2 thing without the toxic gentlemen's like at round 2 kind of deal.
Just implement top cut rules throughout the tournament.
We want like single elim the whole time?
No.
But then like that eliminates like stall as a.
That's fine. Get it out of here, dog.
I mean, sure, that'd be cool, but like.
What I'm trying to say, Lane, is like, if you're ahead on prizes in game 3, you win.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's
true. If you're not, the first person sudden death, right? So like that's not hard. We have rules for it.
I do like that. One other thing I really appreciate about Magic is they do like 50 minutes plus 5 turns. I think that would honestly resolve a lot of it. Because how many times have you been playing and you tie and it's
Yeah,
like,
just
oh,
one
I
more
would have won the
turn.
next turn. I
Yeah.
mean, there's
Yeah,
obviously like, oh, then it would be like on the 5 turns, oh, I would have won on my extra next turn.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Right, right.
still,
yeah,
it would
yeah.
eliminate like the amount of times I've been like a turn away and my opponent's been a turn away. I think the amount of time it would add to a tournament to allow +5 instead of +3 would kind of pay off and eliminate a lot of the ties that we'd be seeing.
Yeah.
But that's just there's a bunch of different things you could
Well,
do.
there's
I'm
so
not.
many things we can do, and we'll see what Pokemon does after they see these numbers. I don't know if they really want 304 players in day two.
Yeah. If they
So
need
that's
your
a lot.
changed after one tournament before, they'll probably do it again. If they
That's
I
right.
don't see yeah.
That's right. I mean, and they're listening, right? So that's why we have
Yeah.
to
I
talk
like
about
the
it.
feedback they're taking. I
They're
think this is
listening.
good.
Right. They're trying. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Landon, I do want to give you one quick opportunity to shout out. I saw a tweet and I'm very intrigued. You said Lost Zone podcast coming back?
Yeah, so
Maybe?
Me and Lucas Oldell, we are being in the plans. If anyone watching this podcast knows anybody that's a video editor, does like thumbnails. Previously, I was doing all the editing as after our friend Brad kind of helped us get off the ground. Which, with me working full time, I'm going back to school again in the next like year or so. I just don't have the time to edit on top of record everything and upload
Yeah.
everything. So I am looking to hire an editor for this escapade of ours, but we're going to be looking kind of to do it bi-weekly, kind of because you guys do
We
bi-weekly now?
did. We moved to
You're
weekly
doing
But
just
you're weekly now.
weekly
recently.
Okay,
now.
cool.
We are
Yeah, we're
weekly.
gonna try and get off the ground with bi-weekly just so I can get my feet back into
Yep.
like the habits of recording it, making sure
Yep.
it's high quality. But yeah, with the second win, I guess people probably want to hear my opinions. I feel more qualified to give my opinions to the public.
Yeah.
And yeah, you should be expecting in the next couple weeks something from us in the Lost Mine once we get in talks with who we think
Welcome
might be the
back.
most
Welcome back.
appropriate.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you here. Thanks for choosing the Beach Square podcast for your first
absolutely.
interview, man. I was stoked when I saw you on stream, Saturday. I was like, gotta lock him in. I'm
This
messaging him right now. We gotta lock him in.
Yeah, I
is
like
like
what you guys
a
are doing over here. You guys, seem like genuine dudes.
Yeah,
I've had good interactions with you guys at events, so was happy to jump on here, like to support who I think is doing good things in the community. So
we'll see you in Toronto. Yeah.
yes, you will. Well, actually, I have not got the time off work yet. I have the whole trip booked, but getting time off work should be somewhat trivial.
Just send
So
him $1,000 from your winnings. It'd be fine.
I work for it's a public
I
company,
know.
so
I know.
it's
I know.
different.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, it's not like a boss employee relationship. It's all
Yeah.
unionized, so it's a whole bunch of like things, yeah, loopholes, and yeah. So I should be
You're
good to be in Toronto.
listen. You're a paramedic. You're sick. It's fine.
True. Mental health.
Anyways, thanks so much for coming on to the Beach Court podcast, Landon.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
It
Thanks,
was a
Parker.
pleasure
always
having you. We'll be back next week. Next week, I am trying to target the Cloth Terapagos guy. Get him on here and talk about that deck because we're really excited to see about that deck.
I might try that
So
at League. That seems cool.
we'll see if we can make it happen. But till next time, that's all we got for you guys. Have a good one.
Peace.
see ya.